Hey, just real quick, for those of you that don't know, I wanted to post this video because I just recently found this information myself. But apparently, on a completely stock Mustang with the 3.7 V6, so it's going to be anywhere from 2011 to 15-ish, I believe, has the V6 before they discontinued it. Completely stock car, if you run 93 octane instead of 87, which these run on 87, they say you can run 87 and whatnot, but if you run 93 instead, the computer is smart enough and has the sensing software and such to pick up the higher octane level, and it kind of retunes itself to take advantage of that. A lot of newer cars do that, and this is one of them. I was able to find confirmation of that, so I'm not just standing here telling you guys something I heard, which initially is what it was. So I've been waiting to post this until I could find definitive proof, and I finally found it. So initially I had just seen on some forums where people were saying, hey, if you put premium in it, it's 7 more horsepower. And then I'm like, okay, says who? And then there were some people saying that, oh, well, American Muscle posted a video about it. One of the videos they did, they tried switching from 87 to 93 on a stock car, and they gained 7 horsepower. Well, American Muscle has like 1,000 videos, and I scrolled through a bunch, watched a bunch on the V6, the whole project car saga they did with the 3.7, and I didn't see any such information. But I was searching again today, and I found somebody saying, well, yeah, it had something to do with a Obama tune. Okay, well, I finally found the video. I'm going to post it up here for you. Now, forewarning, I'm not going to post anything. The video link here I'm about to post, or these dyno charts I'm going to show you, for more than 3 or 4 seconds, because this video is monetized, so I don't want to run into any copyright issues. So I'm not going to like leave it up for 10-20 seconds for you to study. So if you want to see it longer than that, you're going to need to pause the video so you can check it out. So anyways, initially I found someone had posted a picture of the dyno, and it wasn't 7 horsepower like everyone was saying. People all over the internet saying 7 horsepower gain from premium. It was more like a 5 horsepower gain. But I finally found the video itself, and I took screenshots from the dyno charts they showed. And it's actually a 9-year-old video, so maybe that's why I couldn't find it. It was like clear down on the bottom of the list, and it was probably way before there was playlists, so it probably wasn't in their Mustang playlist because it's long and forgotten about. But it's a 9-year-old video, okay? So here's the dyno chart, and you can see it says American Muscle. You can see it says 87 at the top, no tune, and 93 at the top, no tune. And they got a 5 horsepower gain, I believe it was, not 7. So where'd everybody get this 7 horsepower figure? Well, later in the video they go on, they kind of don't explain it, but if you know much about dynos, it's the first chart was 5 horsepower maximum gain. Okay, so like the car made this much power stock maximum, and it made this much with the 93 maximum, and that difference was the 5 horsepower. But later on in the RPMs, there is a gap where it dips down a little, while the 93 is still a little bit higher, and that's where you get your 7 horsepower from. So a lot of people don't know that. Like, if you buy a part and it says it adds 10 horsepower, and if your car is a 300 horsepower car, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to make it a 310 horsepower car. What it means is somewhere in the RPM range it had a 10 horsepower increase, and it's probably not a maximum increase. Okay, there's proper terminology for that. Can't think of it at the moment, but you know, it might actually pick up 10 horsepower somewhere in the rev range on a 300 horsepower car, but your maximum output might only be 304, so you're only getting a maximum gain of like 4 horsepower, if that makes sense. Again, there's proper terminology for that. I'm not able to think of what it's called right now, but so yeah, that's basically where that number comes from. You can see it in that chart there. It was 5 more over the maximum amount, but it was 7 more later on in the rev range after the power had started to drop off a little bit. So if you guys didn't know, you put 93 in it, you're going to get 5 to 7 more horse, depending on how you look at it. And I've done that myself. Now initially, I felt like it had better throttle response initially, and maybe like it pulled a little stronger on top end like the dyno shows. And this was before I found this proof, okay? And then, I don't know, that wore off after the 20-30 minutes, so I was like, well, maybe it's just a placebo effect, you know, maybe it didn't really do anything. Because again, this was before I could confirm that it was true. So I was like, well, maybe people were just bullshitting. Initially, as soon as I filled up with that 93, it felt like it had a better throttle response and it pulled a little harder on top end. But then, you know, after 10-20 minutes, I was questioning whether I was feeling anything until I switched back to 87, and then the car didn't respond as well. And I also noticed power in last gear, like cruising down the highway and trying to go up hills and such, it didn't have as much power. And then I switched back to 93, and that power that I felt that I lost, it was immediately returned. So it definitely, I noticed it. It's real hard to notice because it's real subtle, but you get a little better throttle response taking off. You got a little more power and torque in last gear, like going up hills and cruising on the highway. And after switching back and forth a couple times, I would definitely run 93. I think again, it's a very subtle difference, but I did feel it. And even before I found this dyno, I was like, okay, there's no way it's a placebo effect, because once I switched back, I'm like, yeah, there's definitely a difference. But I'm happy that I finally found the evidence that everyone was talking about, because nobody had a link to it. They just know they had seen it. So I think I'm the only guy that's actually posting the link to the video and have proof of it and all that, and first-hand experience. So there you go. If you guys have the 3.7 Mustang, if you run premium in it, 93, you're gonna get 5 to 7 extra horse, depending on how you look at it. So I'm off to tune this thing, but I wanted to post this real quick before I started posting my tune videos and all that. Thanks for watching. If you want to watch the build on the car, we got cold air intake coming, SCT tuner with SCT tunes, also MPT tunes, aluminum one-piece drive shaft, 373 gears, exhaust work, so on and so forth. If you want to follow the build, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and you'll be notified when I post. Thanks for watching, guys.